Should be a pretty quick meeting.
Yes.
I don't know what the bets are for tonight for a timeline. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe Council meeting. It's May the 5th and it's 7 p.m. We're here in the Township chambers and we have all councillors here present and accounted for. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Okay, seeing none, we have a recommendation that the agenda for May 5th meeting of council be approved. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Nordoff. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. You've had time to look at the minutes of the previous meeting from April 22nd. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none then, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve those minutes? Moved by Councillor Brody, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, is there anything that anyone wants pulled out of the consent agenda, 6A, B, C, or D? Seeing none then, we have a recommendation that items 6A through 6D listed under the heading of consent agenda from May the 5th, 2025 be adopted as recommended. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, next up is item 7, correspondence. We have a request for support of a resolution from the city of Sarnia regarding the carbon tax. I won't even comment on that. It's a non-event now. A resolution request from the city of Richmond Hill to restrict keeping of non-native wild animals. We have a request from the township of Champlain to support a resolution regarding the surveillance and monitoring of heavy vehicles. And we have a request for support of a resolution from the town of Georgina regarding road salt management. Okay, we also have a recommendation that council receive and file correspondence items 7A through 7D. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Brody, seconded by Councillor Nordoff. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, next up are our staff reports. 8A, the partial land lease around the Kerwood wastewater treatment plant. And I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to our road superintendent, Coulter Cahill. Sorry, Public Works Manager. I keep getting that wrong.
That's all right. Thank you, Mayor Clark. Yeah, tonight my report's pretty straightforward. It's on the partial land lease. Like you said, at the wastewater treatment plant. This year we had 2 people bid for the 2025 and 2026 years. Ended up being $350 a year to rent the lot for the purpose of hay harvesting. There's an agreement attached. Recommendation is in my report. I'll open up for any questions if there is any.
Thank you, Coulter. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, I think that's good use. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but then it's land that we don't have to maintain and somebody's able to benefit from it. And looks like it's somebody fairly close by, so that's good. All right, we have a recommendation that council accept the bid proposal from Alphonse Bless for the partial land lease of 27897 Kerwood Road for the purposes of hay harvesting for the years 2025, 2026 in the amount of $350 per year. And further, that council authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary to implement this award. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, next up is 8B, the 2025 annual repayment limit, and I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to our treasurer, Johnny Pereira.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. Through to council. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing prepares for each municipality its annual repayment limit in regards to its long-term debt. This repayment limit is calculated based on the 2023 financial information return. It represents the maximum amount the township has available as of December 31st, 2023 to commit to payments relating to debt and financial obligations. So this limit is calculated at 25% of our own source revenues. So based on the calculated amount, the township has capacity to borrow that would result in annual payments equivalent to $1,212,774, and that's after adjustments up through today's date in 2025. So based on the information presented, the township does have sufficient amount of borrowing capacity. The recommendation is to receive the report's information, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Johnny. Are there any questions for Johnny? Okay, I just have one comment. I'm glad to see like 25% debt service ratio is fairly conservative, so that doesn't expose if we were ever in that position. But just to clarify, we are not borrowing right now.
A great question. So there is a small amount listed there as debt, but that is fully borne by the users in Kerwood.
That's correct. Okay, we have a recommendation that the 2025 annual repayment limit report be received for information. Mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, next up, it's time to share with the public that we've been advised by Councillor Nordoff that he is going to resign. And the reason for the resignation is not because he doesn't like us anymore. It's, well, maybe it is. Is because he is moving out of the district, and you have to have property to stay on council. You have to either own or live in the municipality. So he's moving on to bigger and better things and a simpler lifestyle. So first of all, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and pay tribute to Aaron, somebody who's given so much to the township of Adelaide Metcalfe over many, many years. As most of you know, Councillor Nordoff has submitted his resignation from council as he'll be moving outside the township. And while we understand and respect his decision, it is with mixed emotions that we accept and pass on this news. Aaron's dedication to this community spans more than just his time on council. For over 40 years, he has served as a proud and committed member of the Adelaide Metcalfe Fire Department. That kind of service doesn't just speak to his commitment, it speaks to his character, to loyalty, and to a deep sense of responsibility for one's neighbors. When Aaron brought the same dedication and steady leadership to the council table, we all benefited from it. His insight, his calm approach, because he doesn't really lose his temper, like he's so good at controlling that. And his deep knowledge of the community, because he has such a long history here, they've helped guide our decisions that will hopefully benefit the residents for years to come. So Aaron has never been one for the spotlight. You don't see him out trumpeting and putting on a big show, but he's a quiet, diligent, and thoughtful contributor who is going to leave us with a lasting impact. So Aaron, on behalf of council, staff, and especially the residents of Adelaide Metcalfe, I'd like to thank you for your service, your integrity, especially, and your unwavering commitment to our township. You've worn many hats in this community, and you've worn them all with honor and grace. So we wish you all the best in your next chapter and hope you will always consider Adelaide Metcalfe your home. So just amongst us, I'd like to show our appreciation to Aaron with a round of applause. And some of you might be wondering what next steps are. So I'll just briefly turn, we don't have a staff report tonight, but I'll just briefly turn it over to our Legislative Affairs, Mike Barnier, because he'll be tasked with the next process.
Thank you, Mayor Clark, and to members of council, and especially to Aaron. I've a great developed a great appreciation for Aaron throughout the years working with him as a colleague and counsel in my short time here. And I really appreciate your service and knowledge. But to get to next steps, Aaron's official resignation date is May 9th. What will happen is next council, which is Tuesday, May 20th, I will bring a report forward with options that are governed under the Municipal Act. Essentially, a very quick summary, there's basically two options. One is to have a by-election, and the other is to appoint a member. And there's no discussion in the Municipal Act what that looks like, but normally we see it either through application, the next person with the most votes gets appointed, or council simply appoints somebody. So we'll lay that out in a report for recommendation to council at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other business? I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge that we lost an important person from a family in our community this week, and it's a former, well, Neil's still on the fire force, but Neil Bolton passed away this week. His visitation is tomorrow, and our sympathies are extended to Dennis and his family and his wife, Pat. Okay, no other business. I hope the Optimus bottle drive was a success on Saturday. There seemed to be a lot of people there, so that's good. All right, we have a recommendation that bylaw 21 of 2025, the partial land lease of 27897 Kerwood Road, and bylaw 22 of 2025 confirming May 5th, 2025 received first, second, and third, and final readings. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, I think this is on record as the shortest meeting we've ever had. And for anybody watching, it's not because there's a Leafs game. It's we'll probably pay for it at the next meeting. So we have a recommendation to adjourn this meeting at, what time is it here? 7:12 p.m. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you.